I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Rakakodash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and shalom to the brothers in the highways and byways, pushing this word in all sincerity and truth, the sisters, the believers, helps, shalom. This is the brother Ira Wom from Mr. Jamaica Camp, and just want to come with another quick lesson. I think I'm going to name this one along the lines of we we are that generation. These scriptures were preserved for or I think I'll name it along the lines of we have the knowledge of many generations can, right? That was what I had in mind, right? The understanding of these scriptures were our scriptures for our forefathers, many generations. This is literally ancient wisdom, you know, and the Lord actually preserved this for us within the last days, you know, and it's really a law in Israel as well, and I'm just gonna well, a law that we should actually rehearse these things to our children, and our fathers should do that, and our children should really rehearse it to their children's children, and it was rehearsed so many times, throughout many captivities that the Lord have make it happen where we are able to access these writings to this very day. And this is why the truth is so sure. This is why the words of this book is so sure. As it states in Ecclesiastes, the thing that had been is the thing which shall be, and the thing that is done is that which shall be done. So we have the this has been from the things that we're discussing. The prophecies were preordained or were prescribed from the before the foundations of the earth. The way how Jay carrying on, it's nothing new. The things that which are to come is nothing new. The tearing down of a kingdom to as a matter of fact, let me get a few scriptures from Ecclesiastes. Wasn't planning to do that, but just following the spirit, right? Where is it? Ecclesiastes. There we go. Right. 1. Let's start at verse 9. It says, start at verse 8. It says, all things are full of labor, no man can utter it. The eye is not satisfied with seeing, nor the ear filled with hearing. Right? So everything in this world is full of labor. Now our forefathers being before us, they made record of the things that they saw, the things that they did, the things that happened around them, the stories that they heard, the parables of their time, so that they'll be able to teach us, which is the generation to come, right? How to apply them, basically as a guide, and ultimately a guide to salvation, a guide to righteousness, the guide of being one with our power, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, right? As it says, all things are full of labor. Whether it won't be wars, whether it won't be love, hate, riches, poor, no matter what it is, we have a reference for that, right? Now verse 9 says, the thing that had been is that which shall be, and then that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. The Lord had it set up the way where it's the modern day Medes gonna take down the modern day Babylon. The similar spirits. Some of the prophecies were already fulfilled, and some of those that were fulfilled will be fulfilled again. And there are some which are yet to be fulfilled. Like for example, the mark of the beast. That's a end day prophecy. Us actually being back in our land and not being moved anymore. That's yet to come. It's about that time, but it still hasn't been fulfilled as yet, right? Now continuing, verse 10 says, is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new? It had been already of old time, which was before us. There is no remembrance of former things, neither shall there be any remembrance of things that are to come with those that shall come after. Exactly. So we that come after, there's no way that we would have known of the things that were of the things that that shall be, nor remembrance of the things that are to come. You know, we would definitely need to have a guide, right? And just to show another precept, which shows that the scriptures cover everything, you know, Slakia, right? Ecclesiastes 3 verse 1, it says, to everything there is a season and a time for every purpose under the heaven. You know, and this is what these scriptures tell us. You know, you have books like Proverbs, you know, Slakia, you have books like Ecclesiastes, Ecclesiasticus, you know, these books of wisdom, you know, books out like Joe, they tell you what to do when, how to operate with someone that's rich. It tell you how about operating with women. It tell you about how to operate among people that are wise. It tells you about fools. It tells you about various interactions. We see how our forefathers, you know, operated within certain things, like the stories of King David, you know, the things of Yahushai chiefly, you know, what happened to Solomon, what happened to Abraham, you know, the apostles. You know, we have those records, right, to actually see, to hear what they say about certain events, and saw how men of righteousness and even men of unrighteousness conducted themselves, and what were the judgment and things of that nature, right? We are seeing that, and we have the scriptures that tell us what to do in these varying situations. You know, the apostle Gabar in the last video that the apostles did when they went live, you know, when they were driving around the car, he brought out the word acumen, and it was somewhere along the lines of someone who knows how to act and observe things based on the situation, and use the his observation to his advantage, something along those lines, you know. And that's basically it. You know, these scriptures give us acumen, you know, in righteousness, because they our forefathers actually written them down, you know. So going back to the precept, you know, don't want to really go off topic. The book of Psalms chapter 78, I'm going to start at verse 1. Salakia Akim for that, right? It says, give ear, O my people, to my law, incline your ears to the words of my mouth. I will open my mouth in a parable. I will utter Slakia. Forgot to turn off the notifications. Let me start again. It says, give ear, O my people, to my law. Incline your ears to the words of my mouth. I will open my mouth in a parable. I will utter dark sayings of old. You know, and that is the thing. Some of these scriptures are parables. Some of these situations, these understandings, they're parables, and they're mysteries. You know, they're dark sayings. You know, Esau would have probably called them the secrets of life, which that is what the scriptures are. You know, some things that are so simple, but when you observe the concept, they are so deep, you know, and it actually makes sense. You know, as the saying goes, common sense isn't so common. You know, a certain level of acumen that you'll be like, hey, how did you know that? You know, or, you know, I never thought about this that way. That is what the scripture give, you know. You know, that way of life, the way to the right path, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. You know, these spiritual gifts, these mysteries, right? It says, verse C says, which we have heard and known, and our fathers have told us. You know, so this is that's Miskel of Asap. He's saying that, look, we have heard and known, and our fathers have told us. So they of that time knew that, but we wouldn't know that because we're not of that time, right? Which is why the verse 4 comes into play. It says, we will not hide them from their children, showing to the generation to come the praises of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. You know, so this wisdom is of old, yo, and it's preserved for us in these last days, so that we can come unto the praise of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, right? It says, showing to the generation to come the praises of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, and his strength, and his wonders, and his wonderful works that he had done. You know, so come we hear about the flood. We hear about what happened with Abraham. We hear about the deliverance of Egypt. The what happened in the wilderness, the going into the land. What happened to Solomon? All the history. David, um, Yahushua, the various captivities, Daniel of the great men. We heard about the strength and how Yahweh Shem Yahshai did those deliverance. Now, if we truly say that we believe in these scriptures, then we'll actually believe that those things happen for real, and definitely that would boost our faith in Yahweh Shem Yahshai. That will boost our confidence in Yahweh Shem Yahshai. And we can see how the Lord work with us even as we examine these scriptures and see the similarities that happen unto us within these days. And we build that spiritual relationship with Yahweh Shem Yahshai, and we see the Spirit playing out and trust the Spirit. But you have to believe that they actually happened, right? Do you believe that the flood actually came? Do you believe that Yahushua was taken up in a so-called UFO, right? Do you believe that Yahushua is coming back in a so-called UFO? Do you believe that the RFID chip is the mark of the beast? Do you believe that based on the signs that we're seeing that this is the end? Do you believe that if you have faith in Yahweh, you will be delivered, and all the promises that were made unto our forefathers will be delivered unto us? Do you believe that Yahweh, once you're giving all diligence to make your calling and election sure, then Yahweh will work wonders through you? Do you believe that Yahweh can and will work through you? Right? Do you believe that Yahweh will give you that spiritual power, to heal someone that's sick, or to heal someone that's maimed, grow back a limb, rise somebody from the dead, as Yahweh did? Walk on water, walk through walls, be invisible, you name it. Do you believe that Yahweh have the power to grant, to grant you that once you pray for it? We see the men, the men of old were delivered from quote unquote impossible situation. Just look upon Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. So that is the thing. We based on what was written aforetime, we have that history, and we get to see the praises of Yahweh Shem Yahushai and his wonderful works. Salakia, right? As it says, showing to the generation to come, which is us in these last days, the praises of Yahweh and his strength and his wonderful works that he had done. For he had established a testimony in Jacob, and a testimony going back to what? Witnessing, right? And appointed a new law in Israel, which he commanded our fathers, that we should make them known to their children. And this happened in the book of Deuteronomy. He said, tell your children and tell your children, right? So that was a law, right? And we getting this knowledge, in these last days, the men of the Lord, we go out there, we make these words known, we publish it, and we rehearse it in the ears of Israel, But we know that what? According to the prophecy, 2/3 will not receive this, and you have a third, the believers, the elect, that will actually get it. Therefore, they're the ones that it would profit, that would end up profit, right? It says, and appointed a law in Israel, which he commanded our fathers, that they should make them known to their children, that the generation to come, see, it keeps on telling you about the generation to come. So the Lord ensured that these precepts or these scriptures were preserved, that the generation to come might know them, even the children which should be born, who should rise and declare them to their children, right? So, as I say, this is pertaining to us in the last days, because the knowledge that was preserved, the knowledge that was recorded is actually being declared. It was declared unto us, and we're actually declaring them as well, right? And that is the way that we know, because if it wasn't for the scriptures being preserved and those righteous men actually writing down these scriptures or recording the incidents and recording the wonderful works, then we wouldn't be in the case that we are in at this point, right? It says that they might see their hope in the Most High and not forget the works of the Most High, but keep his commandments. That is why Yahushua said, look, I pray the Father to send you a comforter that shall what? Bring you in remembrance of all things. So this is what brings us to the remembrance of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. This is what brings us to the remembrance that we are Israelites. This is what brings us to the remembrance that we actually went into captivity. You know, this is what brings us into remembrance that the Lord said that we would lose, we will discontinue from our heritage and basically forget who we were. But in the last days, He will actually rise us up. You know, by sending His Spirit, He also tell us how. Right? Well, by sending the spirit of Elijah, you know, turning the hearts of the children back to the fathers and the hearts of the fathers back to the children, right? This is what happened in the end. This is why we're here right now, right? That they might, verse 7 again says that they might set their hope in the Most High and not forget the works of the Most High, but keep His commandments. And that is why we try to keep the laws to the best of our abilities. But also, more importantly, our hope and faith is in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, which is to what? Deliver us of what is to come. You know? To deliver all which was promised from before the foundation of the earth. You know? Being not acknowledging all that was predestined from before the foundation of the earth. All of this was set in stone before the foundations, right? Verse 8 says, and might not be as their fathers, a stubborn and rebellious generation, a generation that set not their heart aright, and whose spirit was not steadfast with the Most High, which is why we're in the predicament that we're in at this time. As it says in Daniel 9:11, say, we have sinned and let me actually get it. You know, all Israel have sinned by the as a matter of fact, let me just read this once more. It says that the verse 8 says, and might not be as their fathers, a stubborn and rebellious generation, a generation that set not their heart aright, whose spirit was not steadfast with the Most High. As I said, this is why the curses was poured upon us, because they did not keep fast to it. And if you can receive it, that we didn't keep fast to it, you know, because we reincarnated. So all of us we actually broke those laws, and now we're being corrected, and we're learning that, look, don't be like that. You know, hold fast to your Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, right? So these are the scripture is definitely a dark saying. That's why the majority cannot get it, because they don't see that it is the mysteries of life. It is foolishness unto them, right? Let me get the Daniel that I quoted just now. Daniel chapter 9, verse 11. Right? It says, yea, all Israel have transgressed thy law, even by departing, that they might not obey the voice of that they might not obey thy voice. Therefore the curse is poured upon us, and the oath that is written in the law of Moses, the servant of God, because we have sinned against him. Right? And he had confirmed his word which he spake against us and against our judges, and judge us by bringing upon us a great evil. For under the whole heaven had not been done as had been done upon Jerusalem. Right? Verse 13 says, and as it is written in the law of Moses, all this evil is come upon us, yet made we not our prayer before the Most High, or before Yahweh our God, that we might turn from our iniquities and understand thy truth. So as it says in Psalms that we should not be like our fathers. So that means that we're supposed to be praying unto Yahweh Hashem Yahushai and turn from our iniquity, so that we may understand the truth. As it says that if my people which are called by my name should humble themselves and call unto me, then I will deliver them into their land. Roughly paraphrasing. You know? Which is what? Our forefathers did not do that. As it says here in verse 13. But in these last days, the elect will be doing that, because what? They have the report of the generations of old, that was passed on from sons to sons, you know, from children to children, right? Let me see if there's more in this. Uh, right. I think that would be it right there for this precept, right? So just gonna bring out two more precepts. Jeremiah 6:16 or 16:6. Let me see which one it is. 6 verse 16. Right, Jeremiah 6 verse 16, it says, Thus saith Yahweh, stand ye in the ways and see, and ask for the old paths, where is the good way, and walk therein, and ye shall find rest for your souls. But they said, We will not walk therein. I also I set watchmen over you, saying, Hearken to the sound of the trumpet, but they say, We will not hearken. So you see that they actually rejected the old paths that would actually that ye shall find rest for your souls. So that is what we don't want to be like our forefathers that did that. We actually want to hearken so that we can find rest for our souls, i.e. the salvation, right? As a matter of fact, let me get sorry, I said two precepts, it should have been three. This is Job 8. Is it Job 8 and 8? Right. This is Job chapter 8, verse 8. It says, For inquire, I pray thee, of the former age, right? Which is what? The report of our forefathers. And prepare thyself to the search of their fathers. For we are but of yesterday, and know nothing, because our days upon earth are a shadow. You know, this is why we actually look back to the scriptures, because what? These are the knowledge of the generations of old, right? Shall not they teach thee and tell thee and utter words out of their heart? Can the rush grow up without mire? Can the flag grow without water? Whilst it is yet in its greenness and not cut down, it withereth before any other herb. So are the parts of so are the paths of all that forget the Most High, and the hypocrite's hope shall perish, whose hope shall be cut off, and whose trust shall be a spider's web. He shall lean upon his house, but it shall not stand. He shall hold it fast, but it shall not endure. So you see that once it's a case that you're not actually looking to the whole part, of and learning how to trust in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, then you're actually leaning upon it's like leaning on a spider web, no support. Right, as verse 10 says, shall they not teach thee and tell thee and utter words out of their heart? Exactly, this is what these scriptures do. They teach us righteousness. As I said, we learn, they teach us what to do and what not to do, because all the generations of old have done both righteously and unrighteousness. Worse, we're seeing the signs that it's the last days. All that had been done or could have been done has already been done. Therefore, when we observe what has been done from throughout all the ages and see the things that are playing out now, we can identify it and know what the end results are, which this should actually help to boost our faith and be more confident in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Right? Now let me get the last precept. Right? This is Romans chapter 15, verse 3. No, not verse 3. Verse 4, it says, For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. Right? So, hey, as we said, hey, cleave onto the generation, the knowledge of the generation of old. Let them teach us. Right? Let them teach us to have faith in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Let them teach us to exercise faith into Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Let them teach us to pray unto Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, to trust in the Lord, that we may be able to receive salvation. Because by them we know the end of the wicked, and by them we know the way of the righteous. And we know how by them we know how to identify wickedness, and by them we know how to identify righteousness. Therefore, we'll be able to actually have that righteous acumen, so that we'll be able to withstand in the days to come. Right? So hey, just gonna end it there. Really hope this was edifying. Once more, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. And shalom to the brothers in the highways and byways pushing this word in all sincerity and truth. The sisters, the believers, the helps. Shalom.